certainly has a lot of respect for the Spartans.
Yeah, he said when you look at them, the two veteran guards give them great success, and Respert is getting even more involved in the offense as it gets down to real crunch time, pressure time to win the championship.
And of course, Judd Heathcote on the bench for Michigan State, as has happened every time he has appeared in an arena for the final time. He was honored by the Iowa crowd here, and he's very impressed with the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, he said Iowa right now may be playing the best basketball in the conference along with Purdue, and it would be a real shame if they don't make it, meaning make it to the NCAA tournament.
Heathcote 19-18 against the Hawkeyes. Davis 10-7 against the Michigan State Spartans. And of course, Judd Heathcote was the first winning coach in this building.
Yes, it was. You know, you open Carver-Hawkeye Arena, you'd think as a Hawkeye fan, gee, you want to win that one? Well, Judd Heathcote came in and said, sorry, Hawkeye fans, we're taking this one back to Spartanville. And they end up winning that one. He told us today at breakfast, he says, I'd like to take my last road win back away from Hawkeye Carver Arena, too.
Of course, the series couldn't be any closer, just as the last game between these two couldn't have been any closer. The snow bucket at the horn, giving Michigan State the 69-68 victory. This is the 87th meeting. The Spartans have a 3-game winning streak in this series. Here in Carver-Hawkeye Arena, though, Iowa has won 3 of the last 4 against Michigan State. It's senior night, and Iowa's seniors are being introduced and honored prior to the game, and now the starting lineup's about to be introduced. Let's take a look at the standings going into play, and there are a lot of games coming up in the Big Ten Conference, but we talked about Iowa, and one of their keys is the success of that sophomore class.
Well, that's a great base for the next 2 years, and it comes from what I call the 3-prong attack. Your Andre Wooldridge is the point guard, Jess Settles is the inside person, and then Chris Kingsbury can take it to the wing, and that gives you great 45-degree angles in which to attack other teams, and they're going to be around the Iowa Hawkeye scene for another 2 seasons.
Of course, going into play tonight, Michigan State and Purdue tied for the league lead, and then Minnesota and Michigan apparently in the NCAA tournament. Indiana looking for their 10th win. They could maybe join the group with a win tonight. Hawkeyes feel they've got to win to keep things going.
Well, it's certainly, you're going to see, I think, 6 teams get in from the Big Ten Conference. And there may be a chance that you may see somebody skip over. In other words, if Iowa would happen to win tonight, lose at Indiana, I think they're in the tournament, but they'd be 9-9. They may then have to go over somebody like Illinois, which may end up winning their last 2 games, Ohio State and Northwestern.
And of course, the other games tonight we'll keep a close watch on. Indiana at Wisconsin, Northwestern at Illinois, and Penn State at Michigan. Shawn Respert, certainly one of the great players in the country, one of the 5 finalists for the Naismith Award, and he's got some terrific numbers.
Hey, do you think he's a shooter, a great shooter? You look at him scoring, he's first. Free throw percentage, he is first. 3-pointers per game, he is first. And second in 3-point field goal percentage. The one I like, he is the leading guard field goal percentage shooter. When you look in the standings, you'll see all big people around the basket. Rashad Griffith, John Amaechi, that type of person. And there you find Respert in 7th position.
Respert coming in averaging 24.7. In the last 4 Michigan State games, he's been held below his average. So he'll be looking to bust out a little bit tonight. The Hawkeyes will try to contain him. They really did at East Lansing. He got 18 points. If you can hold Respert under 20, you've done your job defensively.
Well, again, it was a type of game that Iowa really gave him a lot of attention. They did a strong man-to-man. They did zone. They did zone with a trailer through to keep him from the basketball. Double teaming, tried to make him give it up.
You see Mike Zansier. He'll be working the ball game along with Ted Hillary and Ron Zetcher. The Hawkeyes in their gold uniforms, they only haul out for special occasions. They don't wear them every night at home, but they're in them tonight. Jess Settles returned to the starting lineup, but since he has, the Hawkeyes have won 4 out of 5.
Settles is critical to this team's success because he is one of the few big bodies they have inside. When you watch and see the jump center situation, it's going to be Jim Bartle stepping in, all at 178 pounds of him. So it is Settles that's the banger. Jim Bartles is the flyer when you look at the Iowa Post players.
Pike is 6'9", 240. Bartles is 6'6", 175. They jump center to get this Big Ten showdown underway. Using the 3-inch height advantage, Fike gets the tap and Michigan State controls it. Michigan State, a good rebounding team. Rebounds have got to be one of the keys for both teams tonight. Hawks open in the zone, Mac. Did you expect it?
Yeah, I really did. When you look back at the first meeting these 2 teams had, that was the successful defense for the Hawkeyes.
Underneath it is Brooks, Quinton Brooks, who averages 11 points a ball game, getting Michigan State on the scoreboard first. Murray out of Michigan trying to tie. And the rebound controlled by the Spartans. Eric Snow, one of the premier point guards in the country. Beautiful feed inside. Nice pass to John Garavaglia, hit him perfectly.
And Michigan State will like to release. Once that ball comes off the boards, they start getting possession. People will fly down court because they know Respert and Snow will bring it to them.
Chris Kingsbury, Iowa's hottest Hawkeye of late. He settles 1-2 and team scoring. Wooldridge is number 3. He fires a 3, and Fike has the rebound. Fike rebounded well against the Hawkeyes in East Lansing, came up with 13 boards. Left open, Garavaglia, he buries it. His 10th 3 of the season.
He can drain the three-point shot left open like that. Iowa will have to go out, flash a defender at him.
Spartans off to a quick 7-0 advantage. The ball game only a minute and a half old. Iowa team that has been starting very quickly. Settles double covered, too high off the glass. Garavaglia pulls down the rebound.
And 3 Michigan State defenders inside. But I tell you, I look at depth as certainly being critical to the Michigan State team, as the Iowa Hawkeyes say they want to take a timeout.
Hawkeyes off to their worst start of the season as Michigan State has jumped to a 9-0 advantage. The ball game not yet 2 minutes old. We'll return to Carver-Hawkeye Arena right after these messages. To a brilliant start.
And part of the reason is their ability to lead the Big Ten in rebounding. Watch this. You see 3, 4, 5 Michigan State players inside any other Iowa offensive rebounder. Good job by the Spartans early in the game taking care of the paint.
Neither coach has changed his lineup from the unit at the start of the ball game following this early timeout. Wooldridge on the point for the Hawkeyes.
Iowa hasn't seen much zone played against them all season. A lot of man-to-man. And the reason is all 5 players, as we talked, can go out and shoot the three-point shot. Hard to have a zone stand up against that very long.
Shot clock is at 8. Kingsbury. Murray has the rebound momentarily, can't hang on, but it's knocked out of bounds by Snow, and so it will be Iowa basketball. Of course, Chris Kingsbury, Iowa's three-point shooter extraordinaire, is at 98 of them this year.
You know, some people may think missing that first shot by a shooter is a problem, but when you look at Kingsbury and Respert, they will keep putting those shots up. They'll get in the groove. Great shooters will not be bothered by one bad shot.
And Respert has 97 threes. Here's Settles in the lane trying to get around Garavaglia, but Fike is there to knock the ball down. And the game's first foul is called. It will be called against Michigan State. Excuse me, against the Hawkeyes, against Kenyon Murray. Murray's first foul.
Fike, not a great shot blocker, only having 11 on the season, but he gets his 12th there. As Settles really showed him the ball, he had time to set himself and time the jump to get the ball out of there.
Eric Snow led the conference in assists last year, leads in assists again this year. Michigan State shooting extremely well, while the Hawkeyes are still looking for their first bucket. Garavaglia has got 2 baskets already. Bartles, who leads Iowa in rebounding, comes up with his first in this game. Mon'ter Glasper out of Albion, Michigan, checks into the Iowa attack. John Carter with the ball, one of the 3 seniors who are on scholarship or playing their final home game tonight.
And Respert defensively taking Kingsbury. So you have one of the best offensive players in the country going over. Now, Michigan State switching to a zone.
Kingsbury and Respert, the top 2 3 shooters in the league. Murray leaves his 3 long. Carter with the offensive rebound, doesn't get the roll. And it's taken away by Snow. Snow pushing it ahead to Brooks. And it's Iowa basketball, knocked over the backboard by the Spartans.
Boy, does Eric Snow bring it right at you with great speed and under control. He ends up going through people to get to the basket.
It's 9-0 Michigan State. 16 minutes, 15 seconds to go on the first. These are the 2 top scoring teams in the league. Kingsbury, his patented fadeaway from the top of the circle. His 99th tray of the season.
And the answer.
A quick answer it was. Respert with his 98th 3.
You'll get that a lot, Larry. The up and down court game the Hawkeyes like to play give some passing lanes and opportunities for Michigan State to also get their guards out but can score very well.
Judd Heathcote will go to his bench. Into the lineup at guard comes Andy Pennick. Wears number 12, a senior out of Louisville. Snow will get a breather.
You know, Bethea comes in, and he may be the best defender along that front line. And Andy Pennick, not a lot of playing time since he come back to Michigan State. But the reason, Thomas Kelly out with a broken foot.
And for the Hawkeyes, Kevin Skillett comes into the lineup, as does Ryan Bowen. Bowen coming off a very good half against Michigan State on Sunday, rather against Michigan on Sunday. Settles looking for Bowen, too tall. The Hawkeye turnover gives the Spartans the basketball.
Yeah, pass was too high or Bowen was too short, one or the other, but it did not connect for the Hawkeyes.
Hawkeyes with their patented press, an Iowa team that leads the conference in steals and turnovers created, and that has to be a big concern for Judd Heathcote as he prepared his team for this one.
Well, the Hawkeye style gets you out of your rhythm, gets you out of what you like to do.
A 9-point lead for the Spartans, who have lost only 4 times this year, 3 times in league play. Pennick can't find the range, and Kingsbury comes up with a rebound. Wooldridge, hesitation dribble, takes it to the hole. Bethea rips down the rebound. Ahead it's Brooks, inside Kingsbury, and Skillett gets the rebound.
You see the sprint release as Brooks is able to get down court very quickly, and then Settles answers with his 3. And the Hawkeyes are getting the open court game that they want. But I'll tell you, I don't know if that's really to the detriment of the Spartans because of the great quickness of Respert and Snow.
Respert over Skillett, and the long rebound comes to Wooldridge, and Respert gets caught on the shove and is strapped for the loose basketball. The rebound came long. Respert in there trying to get it, and he is called for his first foul.
In fact, that time it looked like Respert was trying to really grab the jersey, get inside, want a little of that gold jersey himself.
Wolverines with a quick start against Penn State. Well, those teams battling for tournament possibilities. Penn State at 15-9 has to think that they've still got a chance to go someplace.
I think they need to win their last 2 to really even be considered.
Settles gets inside, fight to score. Settles has hit 2 in a row. The Hawkeyes down a moment ago 9-0, come roaring back, and it's a 4-point lead for Michigan State.
See, Respert has to handle the ball now with Andy Pennick in the game, and all the Hawkeyes can see Respert. When you're the point guard, you draw all the attention because you got the basketball. He's better away from the basketball.
Ray Weathers is checked in, as from the left baseline, the shot by Bethea and the rebound by Kingsbury. Pulled down his 2nd rebound. Iowa crowd wanted a foul. Respert finds Weathers. Reach-in called against Weathers as Wooldridge, that quick Iowa point guard, tried to cut to his left, and Weathers reached in and grabbed him. It's his first, it's Michigan State's 2nd.
I think the fans of both of these teams can get ready for a night of different runs. You're going to see each of these teams be able to outscore somebody 6-0, 8-2. You're not going to be out of the game, and another team may think, gee, we're doing real well. No, you wait. Somebody else is going to start a run.
Iowa with a 5-point run to answer the Michigan State 9-point run to open the game. And suddenly the Hawkeyes are rebounding much better than they did in the first 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, after Michigan State started with 4 out of the first 5 baskets, 0 of their last 6.
Wooldridge makes a move on Snow, gets him into the air, and the foul called. Andre Wooldridge has been taking the ball to the floor, and Snow with his first foul, and Michigan State with their 3rd. John Gervalia back in for Michigan State, and Fike gets his first rest. John Carter back into the Iowa lineup.
I'll tell you, Larry, when you look at Andre Wooldridge and you look at Eric Snow, I think you have 2 of the best guards in the Big Ten that can break down an opponent. They've got excellent ball handling skills and are strong enough around the basket to have body balance and still be able to finish off shots off the glass.
And of course, Snow and Wooldridge rank 1 and 2 in the league in assists. Wooldridge, normally a good free throw shooter, struggled the other day against Michigan, is 0 for 2, and he's an almost 80% free throw shooter. Nobody's scored for a minute and a half. Now Pennick puts it up from long range. And Bartles with the rebound. Michigan State one shot and done. The Hawkeyes are answering with rebounds. Nice pass inside to Kenyon Murray. Now Bowen tries a putback. Bowen clears some space, wants to go again, and he is fouled. Ryan Bowen, the freshman from Fort Madison, Iowa, battling inside, and he is fouled by John Garavaglia.
Boy, you've seen now Ryan Bowen with a quickness to get to the ball. Just a nose for it, as they say, but he's got quickness back up. Again, Michigan State bringing out a little of the attack on the arms, getting called for the foul.
Bowen, big second half against the Wolverines Sunday. Came up with 7 second-half points on 3 of 4 from the field. Made a couple of real strong power moves that he had not been doing earlier in the year.
There was a time during the year that Ryan Bowen just got a little tired. Just a freshman. All of a sudden, it's a long season when you combine starting back in October rather than, say, November at the high school level. And then all of a sudden, you're getting banged around a little bit more.
Hawkeyes just 1 of 4 from the foul line as Kingsbury comes back. And you may recall Iowa was in the driver's seat at East Lansing. Missed 5 straight free throws down the stretch that cost him the ball game.
Well, they certainly played well up at East Lansing, and Michigan State got off to a great start in their season, being able to get that snow shot to slide in as time was running out.
Hawks on a 6-point run. It has been a while since Michigan State has put points on the board. They jumped to a 9-0 and a 12-3 lead. Since then, Iowa has dominated.
You look at Michigan State, they will be 3 out and 2 in, and they will try and even run some screen like they would in a man-to-man situation to get Respert open.
Buffet is open from the right wing. And takes the rebound away from Kenyon Murray. Now Respert, the bomb, and Carter, the rebound.
Was he trying to answer Kingsbury's range? Huh?
It certainly looked like it. Murray momentarily open inside, scores. Good recognition by Bartles to get him the ball. And the Iowa run has now pulled them within a point of Michigan State as the drive is hit by Shawn Respert for his 5th point. That ends an 8-point Michigan State run, the basket by Respert. Michigan State by 3. Carter takes it to the hole, and the rebound is controlled by John Carter. John Carter playing with more confidence now than at any time in his Iowa career. Kingsbury with his second 3.
And now Michigan State having some trouble getting organized. Eric Snow trying to get the forwards in the right position.
So after the Spartans open with a 9-0 lead, the Hawkeyes catch him at 14.
And Carver-Hawkeye Arena is letting the Hawkeyes know they want them to get this game, get into that tournament.
The loudest crowd of the season was here Sunday against Michigan, and they've come back with vocal cords intact this evening. Murray with the rebound. The Hawkeyes have a chance to take their first lead. Kingsbury, bullseye.
That is somewhere near Cedar Rapids before that one was released.
Snow triple team and is called for the travel. It will be Iowa basketball when we return to Carver-Hawkeye Arena. Jed Heathcote did not agree with the call. Iowa leads Michigan State 17-14. We'll be right back after this message from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. Michigan State scored the first 9, but the Hawkeyes have come roaring back to take the lead.
Boy, you look at Chris, and it's Trey Berry, king of the long-distance 3, dialed it in from way downtown. Kingsbury kind of liked it himself.
Now has 3 on the game and 101 on the year. The story of this game really has been told in the rebounding. Early, Michigan State dominated. They had the lead. Lately, the Hawkeyes have dominated, and they have regained the lead.
As we said, this will be a game of runs. And now Michigan State said, I think we've had enough of that zone defense. Let's go back to our man-to-man.
And the three-point barrage continues for the Hawkeyes. Settles with 8 points, his second try. And it's Iowa by 6 as Michigan State with a 21-win, 4-loss record on the attack. This is a tough place for a visitor to play. Both teams have their starting units on the floor. Brooks settles into the air and nails it.
Well, the Spartans need one of their forwards, maybe a couple of them, to step up. They have been inconsistent all year. If there's one thing they have been consistent with, though, they have found at least one of them to step up and have a good game every night.
Kingsbury, red hot, right now being guarded by Respert. Inside settles, challenged by Garvalia. Garvalia with the foul, that will be his second. Hey, Hawkeye fans, ever dream of making a road trip to see your favorite team play? Enter the On the House Hawkeye Getaway. An ice house might make your dream come true. For details and an official entry form, visit a participating retailer. Please note you must be 21 or older to enter. Following Garvalia's second foul, Jess Settles goes to the free throw line. Just made an interesting comment after the Michigan game. You know, he's been struggling with his back. He says now he has his fight back mentally. He's not worrying about the back anymore, and it's made a difference.
At the shoot around the day, we had the opportunity to watch him after the walkthrough for tonight's game. And he gave himself an individual workout for about 20 minutes, and really you could tell there was very little pain bothering him. He had a lot of mobility back.
Settles has 10 points. Kingsbury has 9. 19 of Iowa's 22, and the Hawkeyes lead Michigan State 22-16. Snow against Murray. Wooldridge right now guarding Respert as we take a look at other Big Ten action. Respert against Wooldridge. Brooks guarded by Settles.
And the Hawkeyes have weathered that early 9-0 run, and they are staying in that zone, thinking that is going to be the best defense, at least early on.
Out of bounds off Michigan State. It's Iowa basketball with 8:48 to go in the first half.
Michigan State people thought maybe that was off Settles, and it was technically, but the momentum of the ball going off Settles was by a Michigan State player slapping Settles' wrist.
So far for the Hawkeyes, it's been a 2-player performance in scoring, Settles and Kingsbury. And Michigan State has had only 3 of their players score. Bartles. Iowa continues to bomb from 3-point range.
And they've done it with 3 different players already.
The Hawkeyes have 6 already. That gives them 142 in Big Ten play. That is a Big Ten record. They needed just 2 coming in to break that record tonight, and they quickly took care of that. Kingsbury on the foul. That is the second foul called against Iowa.
Quite a run by the Hawkeyes. You look up there, 25-7 has been the run. And the bench does get a little short. Jamie Fike, he is really going to have to play a lot of minutes and carry a lot of weight up and down the court at a tempo that Iowa wants to play, especially at home.
Damon Bethea has come in. Garvalia with 2 fouls will leave. Hawkeyes put the double team on in the corner, and Bethea gets out of it. Snow shoots a pass inside for the jam, and a foul called, and the bucket will count. Good pass, good look inside by Snow to get the ball in the hands of Jamie Fike.
Yeah, the Iowa crowd was yelling, shoot. Derek Snow, not known to be a great outside shooter, so he makes the shot pass opportunity. Iowa defenders kind of lose track of where Jamie Fike is. All of a sudden, it's dunk in your face and go to the line time.
Murray with his second foul for Iowa. Fike, a 60% free throw shooter. And East Lansing played well against the Hawks, got 14 points and 13 boards. He completes the 3-point play, and it's a 6-point Iowa lead. It's the Hawkeyes 25, the Spartans 19. And we'll return to Carver-Hawkeye Arena right after this timeout. The Hawkeyes with a 25-19 lead over Michigan State. 7:54 left to play in the first half. Iowa's done it with long-range shooting 5 threes. Ryan Bowen in at the timeout. The pass for Settles. And he stumbles out of bounds with it. Michigan State will have it.
Iowa calling for a little alley-oop pass after that timeout and unable to complete it.
Quick look at our Norwest quick stat, and you see that Michigan State off to the quick start, but Iowa coming back because of the threes. Fiked inbound against full court pressure. A moment ago, Iowa led by 9, then Fike completed the three-point play. Now the Spartans trying to get right back in it.
Iowa staying with the zone.
Bethea leaving it short, and an offensive rebound by Brooks, but he travels, and so the ball goes to the Hawkeyes. It's Iowa ball as Bartles will come back in. Jed Heathcote not happy with the way that his team has played after that first couple of minutes.
And not happy with the official a little bit also. Yeah, Bethea, left-hander, taking that shot. I'll tell you, Michigan State has to lead the country in left-handers. Nicodemus, Carvalho, and settles.
That is Iowa's 6th 3. It is Settle's 3rd. The Hawkeyes' long-range shooting continues to be amazing as Iowa builds a 9-point lead.
Michigan State not getting the ball inside with regular consistency. The ball is on the perimeter. Iowa doing a good job of jamming up the middle. You can see right in the goal paint. Difficult getting it into Jamie Fike.
One of the big improvements Iowa this year compared to last, the way they have played defense.
And part of it is just being familiar with the zone and the slides, where particular players are, and there is not much defense for that one.
Respert knocked it down, got a shot in the stomach, wanted a foul on the end of the play, and it's 28-21. Iowa as Bartles misfires, and Brooks quickly beats Snow. Snow splits the defenders and is fouled.
When we talk about Snow, he will like to go between defenders to draw the attention for one reason. For the second is getting fouled the second. Of course, nobody's maybe worked harder in the country trying to develop a free throw stroke than Eric Snow.
Wooldridge with the foul. That would be his first as far as the team fouls. Iowa with 4, Michigan State with 5.
Interesting story about Eric Snow and Shawn Respert. Shawn Respert obviously recruited first. He's a 5th-year player. And it was one of those where Coach Heathcote said, yeah, I really want Shawn. The assistant coaches weren't sure. They discussed it. Judd said, hey, I'm the head coach. I want to take him. The next year, it's the other way around with Eric Snow. As you look at Eric, Judd Heathcote says, well, I don't know. I think we ought to look around, maybe see if we can find somebody else. And the assistant coaches are saying, no, let's take Eric Snow. So, you know, the recruiting process is not always an exact science. And now you got the best backcourt in the country probably playing on the same team, and the coaching staff couldn't agree on the recruitment.
It is hard to believe. Hard to imagine that Respert wasn't a great prospect, and yet he had only 4 Division I opportunities, only 4 firm scholarship offers coming out of high school. Tulsa, Detroit Mercy, UConn, and of course Michigan State. Hawkeye ball following the Michigan State foul. It's 28-22 Iowa, 6-11 in the first.
Iowa really try and spread. They use the ball on the perimeter a lot. You can even say they step out of their shooting range. Well, you've seen Kingsbury and you've seen Settles, Bartles, they can shoot them. So they are not out of their shooting range in that area, and it stretches the defense.
Shot clock winding down. Settles knows it, leaves it short, and the rebound is taken down by Weathers. Eric Snow, terrific playmaker for Michigan State. His assist-turnover ratio just outstanding. 186 assists, 74 turnovers. Respert from Kingsbury territory. And Weathers underneath on the pass from Fike. Ray Weathers scores his first 2.
Bowen having trouble. Part of the trouble may have been a Spartan grabbing the arm.
Glasper, Bartles, Bowen, Murray, and Settles on the floor for Iowa.
Jamie Fike will not go out very far and guard Ryan Bowen.
Michigan State always in pretty good rebounding position. That's why they lead the conference in rebounding. Here's Murray falling away. Bartles trying to keep it alive, cannot do it, and it's Michigan State basketball. Carvalho with 2 fouls comes in for Michigan State. Kingsbury comes in for the Hawkeyes.
And Kenyon Murray so far has not been on the offensive flow, and of course he's playing against his home state, Michigan State.
Respert to inbound. He's got 7 so far tonight. And with those 7, moves into number 3 on the all-time, all-game Big Ten career scoring list. Passed Mike McGee by getting to 7 points. Now only Glenn Rice and Galbert Cheney are ahead of him. In fact, he's only 3 away from moving past Rice into the 2nd of the all-time career scoring list in Big Ten history.
Iowa really paying a lot of attention to Respert, making the other Spartan score, and that time Snow reins one in.
First basket for Snow, his 7th 3. Doesn't shoot that shot often. Bartles answers with a 3 for Iowa. 7 trays for the Hawkeyes, who lead 31-27.
The Hawkeyes will not change their defensive philosophy. They will let Eric Snow look to take that outside shot. They want to keep Shawn Respert from becoming the superstar of this game.
What do you think of those Spartan sneakers? An interesting look.
I think the first time they used those were at Michigan late in January, and of course, great success in that game. Keep wearing the same thing.
Bartles, yet another 3.
What a night for the senior.
It's raining 3s at Carver-Hawkeye Arena. Iowa has 8 of them here in the first half and leads 34-27. Respert, flying past, and Bartles has his 5th rebound. The slender Jim Bartles, Iowa's leading rebounder at 6 rebounds a game.
Can he do it again? Short.
Bartles has been on fire. Steve Polanski with the long rebound for Michigan State.
And Michigan State walking the ball up the court. Part of the reason to give themselves a rest is, again, we've said the bench is a little short, especially in the guard position, with Thomas Kelly out with a broken foot.
Respert over Murray.
Basket by Shawn Respert.
9 for Respert.
That's kind of one of those coaches, oh no, don't shoot that one, Shawn, no good shot, Shawn.
You said it. He's had a lot of those in his career, though. Murray hits it. The basket will count, and he is fouled. Kenyon Murray will try to complete a 3-point play for the Hawkeyes.
Nice job by Kenyon Murray. The outside shot has not gone well, so he's gone inside a couple times and had good success. Now try to go to the line and see if he can get the stroke back a little bit on the free throw. Body contact and good.
Ray Weathers with his 2nd foul, and so out of Battle Creek, Michigan, out of Central High School, Kenyon Murray tries to complete the 3-point play. Boy, does he get excited for the games against the Wolverines and the Spartans.
He told us also at the shoot-around that this was the year he was hoping maybe to get the sweep against Michigan and Michigan State. And obviously had a difficult time with the 1-point losses on the road, but did take care of Michigan by 20 points at home on Sunday.
Murray putting together a very solid junior year, averaging 11.6. This is 5th in this one. And Iowa builds the lead to 8 at 37-29. We've got timeout with 2:26 to go in the first half. We'll be right back after this message from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. Don't forget the Iowa boys basketball camp, July 16th through 20th and July 23rd through 27th. Now's the time to call the number you see right there, because this camp sells out every year. So remember, the last 8 years have been a sellout. Don't be left out with the Iowa boys basketball camp.
When you talk about camp, that's where recruiting takes place. And of course, Iowa went into Michigan, got Guy Rucker, 6'10", and he's just been invited to the Magic Johnson All-Star Game, a very prestigious All-Star Game. And a couple other recruits, J.R. Koch, 6'11", and Trey Bullitt will be going to the Derby Classic in Kentucky to play at the All-Star Game there. So good success for the future for Iowa and Michigan State as well. They've had an excellent start on their class. Jason Klein and Antonio Smith, and just a recent commitment, Morris Peterson, and another left-hander for Tom Izzo, next year's head coach.
Respert, Bethea, Pennick, Fike in the lineup now for Michigan State along with Quinton Brooks. 37-30, they've just updated the scoreboard. Apparently the scoreboard operator behind a point in that flurry of threes.
Well, even the score keeper and the scoreboard operator like to watch a good game once in a while.
Brooks, good ball fake, and then he moved quickly to his right to score his 8th point. Nice effort by Brooks.
The old Bob Cousy runner.
Kingsbury wants to answer with a tray, and it is grabbed by Fike. Michigan State is undefeated when they lead at the half. Right now, with 1:35 before halftime, they trail by 5 as Brooks hits another. And you talked about a forward needing to step up for Michigan State for them to be successful. So far, it's been Quinton Brooks.
Okay, now you're seeing the run the other way. Michigan State getting the answer, getting some defensive things solved.
Becomes a big possession for the Hawkeyes with 20 seconds on the shot clock and 1:12 on the first half clock.
I'm not sure Iowa knows if Michigan State's in zone or man-to-man. I think they're in zone. Iowa's looking to run a little man-to-man offense.
Kenyon Murray leaving it short. Rebound by Fike. Big run for the Spartans in the closing minute of the half. Respert.
Oh, what soft touch.
He's got 11, and suddenly a 7-point Iowa lead is cut to a single point. And again, with Michigan State undefeated when leading at the half, this becomes a crucial possession for Iowa.
And a jump ball, and it will go to Iowa as you look at 38.6 seconds left.
So Michigan State should get one more touch.
Yeah, because the shot clock will not be reset. That was an air ball. It has not touched the iron.
That's right. So 22 on the shot clock, and Michigan State will get a longer touch. Michigan State, big run here.
We got all kinds of clocks.
A moment ago, Iowa with a 37-29 lead, and then 37-30, and Michigan State comes fighting back.
A 1-2-2, but can shift to a 2-3 zone as Kingsbury decides to break it down with the drive and the kiss.
Big shot for Kingsbury, who continues to make difficult shots.
You want to bet that maybe Respert doesn't take a look at a 3 to tie it? Huh?
Iowa has their best defender on him, Kenyon Murray. Respert over him, banks it home.
And Shawn Respert, as he came down, sprained his right ankle. And you can see right there, he turned it over just a little bit. That's something to watch coming back in the second half. Respert limping as he goes off the court.
Respert hopping his way off the floor. Good first half, featuring the long-range bombing of the Hawkeyes and the inside-outside game of the Spartans. And it's a one-point game at halftime with Iowa in front, as Shawn Respert finishes it off this way for the Spartans.
See where Shawn Respert comes down on that right foot. Couldn't really tell there, but great job by Shawn Respert once again to get his team back in the hunt.
1-point finish the last time these two teams played. It's a 1-point game at the half. Iowa.
Got an even game, and that's what you got when you look at the stats, except for the 3-point shooting, but higher field goal percentage by the Spartans. What I really like about this game, 3 turnovers for each team. The stat not shown that I love, each team has 12 assists. So everybody's involved. It's an action game.
What surprises me is the Hawkeyes out-rebounding Michigan State 2-1. Michigan State, the top rebounding team in the Big Ten. The Hawkeyes being out-rebounded by an average of 1 per game. Both teams back on the floor. The second half coming up shortly. We'll be right back. Michigan State goes for a league championship. Elsewhere, some big games.
Happy hoops around Big Ten country, and maybe a bit of a surprise, but it's at Wisconsin. And of course, Indiana and Iowa meet on Sunday. Could be a very important game to go to the NCAA tournament. Illinois finishing off Northwestern tonight, and then they go one more game at Ohio State. That could be dangerous territory for the Illini, and it looks like Michigan now starting to pull away from Penn State.
And one game tomorrow night in the conference, Purdue at Minnesota, as the Boilermakers will try to continue their quest to at least share the Big Ten championship with Michigan State. So a big night in Big Ten basketball. And again, Purdue and Michigan State leading the way with 13-3 records. Judd Heathcote made a presentation prior to the game by the University of Iowa. It seems every place he goes, he's picking up some nice gifts.
Well, he has gone and gotten a little rocking chair, a little TV, some other things. But Judd Heathcote told us today, you know, he is looking forward to retiring, but he's not going to stay around East Lansing. He's going to go out to Spokane. He's got a couple daughters out there. But he said, I love East Lansing. I'm going to be there in August, play golf with my cronies, and stay around maybe for a couple football games, because he said there's nothing like Big Ten football.
Leading scorers, Shawn Respert for Michigan State, and Jess and Chris Kingsbury for the Iowa Hawkeyes. As far as the fouls, Kenyon Murray, the only Hawkeye with more than 1. He's got 2. And Michigan State, 2 players with 2 fouls. They are Weathers and Garvalia. And
I would not expect much strategy changing at halftime. There may be a little experimentation early as to regard to man or zone defenses, but other than that, I think the tempo is going to remain pretty much the same. It has been what you would expect. Respert leading Michigan State as far as being able to score, and Brooks, one of the forwards, stepping up. That's what they've seen is just one almost historically every game. Jamie Fike might get involved a little bit more offensively. The Hawkeyes, the offense can come from anywhere with their three-point attacks.
Snow, Garvalia, Fike, Brooks, and Respert start the second half for Michigan State. Hawkeyes also have their starters in. Kingsbury, Murray, Bartles, Settles, and Wooldridge. Here's Respert shooting for a Michigan State lead. The three by Respert gives him 16 and gives the Spartans the edge at 41-39. Jess Settles once again playing with the back brace, just doing it for support though. He says his back really feels sound. Here's Snow finding Respert, who finds Garvalia. Nice unselfish shot, unselfish effort there by Respert.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, even the Michigan State coaches said they wish he'd be just a little more selfish and go ahead and take the shot, but obviously there, Garvalia had a wide open shot that he didn't even realize. He did a little fadeaway instead of taking it to the rack hard.
So Michigan State scored the first 9 points of the game. They got the first 4 here in the second half. Here's Settles. The three grazes off the front of the iron. Running it down is Kenyon Murray to keep it alive for the Hawkeyes. The crowd loves his hustle. And Iowa with another opportunity as a second offensive rebound.
Couple of ill-advised shots, really a little rushed. But the Hawkeyes looking to try and get back in as Settles takes a little hop across the lane and gets it down.
It will count. Fike called for the foul. He's a bit incredulous by the call. He picks up the foul. Settles with a chance at a three-point play. And we talk about the health of Settles making all the difference in the world for the Hawkeyes.
Good 2-foot jump stop and then releases the ball before coming down again, prevents the travel, slides across, almost takes out the official. But Kenyon Murray hurt his right shoulder somehow on that last floor. It may have been going out of bounds trying to save the ball, but his right shoulder is definitely hurting.
See Settles, fine performance against the Wolverines, going for his 16th point now in this ball game. And it's a 43-42 one-point Michigan State lead as Snow finds Respert for three. And Settles battling Fike for it, off of Fike, Hawkeye basketball.
Well, I wouldn't want to bet in that collision. Fike, Settles, couple strong guys going after it. And again, Snow takes it right down the middle. Respert finds his spot on that left wing. Snow just knows where he's going to be.
Iowa trying to regain their halftime lead. They led by 1 at the half. Now they trail by 1. Just underway second half. Kingsbury triple team taken away by Snow. Snow challenged by Wooldridge, and Wooldridge with a foul.
They should wave it off. Foul on that drive with the dribble.
Second foul against Andre Wooldridge.
That's a good job of officiating, because sometimes you'll see how Snow will come in. The foul takes place right there, grabbing the arm, and the shot is not starting. A long continuation, yes, but definitely not in a shooting position. Good job by the officials. I'd like to see more young officials get involved in the game. I think there's a shortage of them, Larry.
Yes, there is.
Young people involved. You want to be a part of a big-time game. You can get in now, start working in junior highs, high schools. Hey, you can move up to the college level rather quickly.
Michigan State with the ball on a 1-point lead. 2 minutes have been played, second half. Fike inside. Jess Settles figures if he sneaks down to the other end of the floor real quickly, Ron Zetcher won't nail him for the foul, but it won't work, and Settles his call for his first foul.
Jim Bartles at 175 pounds trying to defend on the inside. Jamie Fike did a nice job of getting low position, used his legs to just back in to Bartles so he could turn right to the basket area, but it was Settles there to strip it and grab a foul.
Bowen in for Kingsbury.
When you let a post player actually get on the block, he's really got a distinct advantage. If you can keep him even above the block area, just a foot, now when he turns, he either has to take a dribble to get to the basket, or he's got to do a little shovel shot. He cannot get to the glass area. It's too far away.
Jamie Fike, the junior from Lexington, Ohio. gives his team a lead of 2 at 44-42. Wooldridge, Bowen, Bartles, Murray, and Settles on the floor for Iowa.
And now Michigan State looking at their zone, bringing Brooks out at the top. Looks like it'll look like a 2-3. Then as Iowa moves down to attack, it'll start to look like a 1-2-2.
Settles retrieving. Murray having trouble hanging on. He carried it out of bounds. Kenyon Murray stepped on the out-of-bounds line. It's Michigan State ball. And into the lineup for the Spartans, Damon Bethea, the junior from Elkhart, Indiana. He's going to look inside at Murray, trying to hang on.
Right on the line. Iowa's really had a difficult time in the start of the game and start of the second half, grabbing some loose balls.
Snow pushes it ahead, has a 4-on-2 break momentarily. And now the Spartans will pull it out. This veteran Michigan State team leads the conference, shooting 50% from the floor on the season. And they've held their last 13 opponents under 50% as the shot is nailed by Quinton Brooks, who has a dozen points tonight. He got 8 last time out against the Hawkeyes. It's a 4-point Michigan State lead. Bartles is fouled and will have a 3 free throw opportunity.
Snow came across to defend, respecting Bartles' range. Got foul.
Second foul on Snow. Jim Bartles to the line, which gives us an opportunity to talk about this Iowa senior playing his last game before the home crowd.
Good screen here on the inside. As you see the man on the baseline, Jamie Fike, prevents Ryan Bowen from getting over the top, leaving that baseline shot wide open. Good job by Michigan State's zone offense.
5 years ago, Jim Bartles came here out of Freedom, Wisconsin. He said he was most impressed when he stepped into Carver-Hawkeye Arena, and he said he's still impressed now as a senior when he steps into this place. And his mom and dad very proud of his accomplishments as you see them at courtside.
And Jim, like a lot of players, a little discouraged early on because he had a lot of injuries his first couple of years. You know, you like to get in and play. As you look at the youngsters returning next year for Iowa, Kingsbury, Murray, Settles.
Bartles hits all 3. Iowa back to within 1. Bartles for the ball game now with 12. Fike having problems with Iowa pressure.
And the Iowa crowd loving it. Of course, the Iowa pressure was excellent at Purdue. A little unusual to have tremendous pressure at Purdue, create a lot of turnovers against the Boilermakers.
Bowen nearly gets the steal. Bethea against the double team, and now Iowa will drop back, and Michigan State will bring it across the line, leading by 1, 16:50 to go.
With this lineup, Iowa's going to have to be sure and really take care of the boards and rebound.
Rebound over the head of Carter.
Just what we're concerned about there for the Iowa team, not taking care of that defensive rebound. A good job again by Michigan State.
Michigan State with Bethea on the basket. And now at the other end, the push is spotted against the Spartans.
I think it was Carvalho.
And that will be his 3rd. Carvalho, the first player for either team with more than 2 fouls, and Shawn Respert will come right back into Judd Heathcote's lineup. And with the 3 fouls, Carvalho will leave.
Now this is the small Michigan State lineup with Snow, Weathers, and Respert, all of them in there.
Brooks also is checked out in favor of Ray Weathers. Glasper and Kingsbury along the back line. Carter, Bowen, Skillett. There's Glasper. First shot of the night. Rebound taken down by Weathers. Weathers, a sophomore to Jackson, Michigan. Didn't play for the Spartans last year. Has come off the bench and been a very solid performer for them this year.
Now with the 3 guards, you get people a little bit better perimeter shooter and hopefully ball handler for the Spartans, but not that time. Weathers and Bethea miscommunicating.
Iowa with the ball back as Judd Heathcote gathers his group around. We got a timeout with 15:59 left in regulation. The Spartans lead the Hawkeyes by 3. Travel arranged through Northwest Airlines, introducing the comfort, choice, and control of world business class only from global partners KLM and Northwest Airlines. Back at Carver-Hawkeye Arena, Tom Izzo set to take over this program next season.
He's been an excellent recruiter and a great loyal assistant to Judd Heathcote, and he's also gotten a good start in his recruiting there, but looking forward to maybe the Robert Traylor sweepstakes in Michigan. Robert Traylor, 265 pounds, though, maybe added a few pounds during the season. Didn't quite have the senior year a lot of people thought he would. And Terrence Roberson, another recruit that the Spartans are trying to obtain his services.
Indiana trying for a big road win at Madison. Indiana with that game tonight going in 9-7. They are desperate for their 10th win. That would really give them a leg up on getting in the tournament. Michigan handling Penn State so far as Carter misfires from just inside the free throw line, and the rebound taken by Snow.
Hawkeye effort there. Results were not.
Respert.
Oh, what a move by Shawn Respert. Shows you the ball, takes it away, and finger rolls it.
Has an outside chance of passing Calvert Chaney if Michigan State can play long enough and become the all-time scoring leader in the Big Ten. He is an offensive machine. 3-on-1 Spartan. Snow finishes.
Hawkeyes are going to have to be careful. It's the run they feared by Michigan State. Down 7 now, the Hawkeyes.
Biggest Michigan State lead. Iowa's biggest lead has been 9.
We've talked before, Hawkeyes, if they can win this game, really can make a strong case for getting into the tournament.
Kingsbury, Iowa with only 1 basket in the first 5.5 minutes of the second half. As the Hawkeyes hit a cold spell. Respert and Snow, the veteran back line from Michigan State. Weathers up front along with Fike and Bethea, and it's Fike in deep, challenging Bowen. Bowen with the rebound.
Hawkeyes are going to have to get better shots or get the first shot to go down, or decide to go to the offensive board and get those second opportunities.
Iowa 6 points in the second half, only 1 basket in the second half in the first 6 minutes of the half.
Kingsbury really just standing around now. Hawkeyes are going to have to try and get him freed up a little bit.
Moves around Weathers to the paint and does not get the bounce. Carter takes it away from Weathers, but then he travels.
They're going to call the foul. Hillary.
Prior to the travel.
That's a great effort by John Carter, who 2 months ago was seeing no playing time or certainly very limited playing time. Now has become a factor for the Hawkeyes.
Weathers on the foul.
We said offensive rebounds are needed by the Hawkeye team at this stage. They had gotten none in the second half. Carter, good job of keeping his feet stable and getting it to go in.
Wooldridge scoring his first basket of the game. He was held without a basket against Michigan. After spraining his ankle at Purdue, his offense has not been there. That's his first 2 in this game, and it's a 5-point lead for the Spartans.
Now the Carter basket didn't foul. They said the foul took place before, and then the Wooldridge score.
minutes, 12 seconds to go, 52-47, Michigan State with the lead.
Now, Andre Wooldridge, against Purdue, sprained his ankle and only practiced about 15 minutes the week before the Michigan game. And did not score well in that game at all. He's had trouble tonight.
Murray off the baseline, and Bethea with the rebound.
No weak side rebounding by the Hawkeyes.
We mentioned Michigan State was out-rebounded by Iowa, 18-9 at the half. However, Michigan State doing a much better job on the boards here in the second half. And that's why they've been able to take the lead.
Nice baseline overload. You got 4 Michigan State players on one side of the court.
9 seconds to shoot. The pull-up by Bethea and settles with the rebound. Hawkeyes trail by 5 as Kingsbury from way outside bangs it home. A lot of people around the Big Ten say, is that really in Chris Kingsbury's range? The answer, a definitive yes. And he pulls Iowa back to within 2.
And that type of shot gets a crowd back into the game, and that's exactly what has happened here. Judd Heathcote wants a little patience as Kingsbury now guarding Respert on the zone matchup.
Now Respert tries to get inside Kingsbury, and Ron Zetcher spots the foul on Kingsbury as Respert begins his drive, and for Kingsbury, it's his second foul. 13 foul on Iowa in the half. 4 have been called against Michigan State, and we've got a timeout with 11:43 left in regulation. We'll be right back after this message from your local station. This is the Raycom Network.
Some things just don't change during the season, and this one comes from long range. It's the nth degree from distance, as Kingsbury says, that's one more for me.
Chris Kingsbury has total confidence in his ability to shoot the basketball from any place beyond the midcourt line. One step inside, he says, that's in my range. It's a 2-point Michigan State lead.
Hawkeyes at the top of your screen paying real particular attention to Shawn Respert. You see the check as he goes across the screens or with the dribble. Everybody picking up Shawn Respert.
Respert with a season high of 40 at Indiana.
And Snow knows where to find Respert on the penetration.
Garavaglia with the offensive rebound, gets the putback. John Garavaglia. Now he's got 9 points, and Michigan State leads by 4.
And that's the disappointing part. That time the Hawkeyes have 4 rebounders inside as Wooldridge tries to deliver and gets the charge.
That will be his 3rd foul. Wooldridge, 3 fouls for the Hawkeyes. Weathers and Garavaglia, 3 fouls for the Spartans.
But to finish the thought, what happens when you start taking a lot of threes, you get some odd rebounds, some strange ones. They kind of dip into the basket and pop out. They hit long and come out. So you can have the inside rebounding. But when they come over your head, it's right back to the opponent.
Michigan State's done a good job against Iowa full court pressure. This time they had some problems with it. That's really the first time, Matt, that they've been struggled on that 55 of that full court defense of Iowa.
That time Iowa taking away the passing lanes and no recognition to find the open player. And Snow, it picks up his 3rd. I'll tell you, I like Eric Snow. I like his game. He's got a chance now to go to the pro level. I'd have never thought that 2 years ago. He could be a Robert Pack type player. Great quickness. Learn to work on his shooting over the next couple seasons.
Woolridge loses it to Brooks. So now for Michigan State, Weathers, Snow, and Garavaglia all with 3 fouls. Here's Respert, his patented shot. Every time he makes a 3, he sets a new conference record for 3s in a season. He had 65 coming in. He has 3 more, 68, breaking the record he set last year. Murray, athletic play to steal it. Kenyon Murray leading the conference and steals. Settles on the finish. 18 for Settles, and the Hawkeyes are now within 5 of Michigan State at 57-52.
And the crowd back in it. Pike didn't want to give it to Brooks. Not a ball handler, as Bartles almost came up with that one.
Snow open for a moment, and then Wooldridge jumps out on it. Michigan State has lost just 4 times this year. Early in the season at Nebraska in overtime. They lost at Indiana, lost at home to Purdue by 9, lost at Minnesota by 9. That is it. They are 21-4, a fine basketball team. There's one of the reasons right there. 23 for Respert. It's 59-52, and Tom Davis, with his team trailing by 7, will use a timeout. He calls it with 9 minutes and 52 seconds left. It's Michigan State 59, Iowa 52. Back to Carver-Hawkeye Arena following these messages.
Just about what you put up automatically when Shawn Respert walks onto the court. 24 points and 51% from the field. Michigan State, of course, settles. Is feeling better, 18 points, but just 3 rebounds. And how does Respert score so many points? He runs through a lot of picks. Able to get open. Iowa not able to get through it. Kingsbury ran into the screen, and it's net time for the Spartans.
69 double-figure performances in a row for Shawn Respert, who, as you saw a moment ago, now has 24. 9:45 left. Michigan State leading Iowa 59-52. Glasper, Kingsbury, Bartles, Settles have come onto the floor along with Murray. Here's Settles pulling up and scoring. Settles, having one of his best nights of the season, is up to 20 points. Also on the floor more than he's been in a lot of games. He's been in game 30 minutes only twice this year. Hennick having all kinds of difficulty. Flattened by Murray. Hawks have it. Here's Settles.
Great job, great defense. That's why you press, create, and disrupt the opponent. Have them shaken with their confidence. And of course, Eric Snow, not in the game right now, so it's raining buckets for Hawkeyes.
And that defensive flurry brings the crowd to their feet at Carver-Hawkeye Arena.
That's where you want the ball. Michigan State, get it to your star.
Shot clock winds down as Spike, nice look to Bethea, who was open, and he will go to the line with a foul against Settles. Defense, the story for the Iowa Hawkeyes in this flurry to get back in the ballgame.
Bethea cross court. Pennant really not intended for that pass. Bats it back inbound. Not a good choice when it's your opponent's basket area. Wide open opportunities for the Hawkeyes.
Respert gets a blow as Bethea goes to the line. Pleasure to be working under the capable direction of Bob Helmers tonight. Nice to be having the opportunity to work with Bob again. Bethea only a 40% free throw shooter. Michigan hanging on against Penn State, opens the lead to 11. Bethea missing them both, kept alive by Weathers. Good hustle by Ray Weathers. 8:30 to go. Michigan State with the ball in a lead of 3.
You know, sometimes it's just those nights that the ball doesn't come to you. And so far, it's been one of those for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Here's Pennick. And Bartle scraps for the rebound. The Hawkeyes have it, down by 3. Murray ties the ball game. Kenyon Murray with a tray to tie it at 59.
And right now, Michigan State is having trouble with the gold uniforms, who are just attacking. Andy Pennick hands it back, over and back. It will be Hawkeye ball.
Iowa with the ball, a chance to take the lead.
No question at this point, the Spartans are missing Thomas Kelly because not of his great play per se, but the experience he has had, even as a freshman, playing against the pressure. Andy Pennick did not have that experience the first time this year.
Of course, Kelly sidelined for the rest of the year after breaking his foot in practice prior to Michigan State's game against Northwestern. Hawkeyes have not led in the second half after opening the half, leading at 39-38. And Michigan State comes up with a big Iowa turnover.
Is he a complete player? Gets the steal, defense. Shawn Respert.
One of the 5 finalists for the Naismith Award for Player of the Year. A lot of people think he should be the one who wins it.
And I do too. I'll tell you, he's Joe Dumars at the next level with a little more strength.
And he is fouled by Kingsbury. Third foul on Kingsbury. So Iowa's starting guards, Wooldridge and Kingsbury, each with 3 fouls.
Wooldridge replacing Mon'ter, Glasper.
A lot of screens can come out of this set in the out-of-bounds play. They can free people open sometimes.
There's Respert scooping it home. 26 for Shawn Respert.
You want it right-handed? You want it left-handed?
Murray tries to go inside against Fike. And Fike called for the foul, and that will be his second foul.
Murray way too quick for Jamie Fike. Murray put his hand down, got maybe a little help, did the spin move, but Fike with a bump.
Team fouls are even at 6 as Carter will play it in. Michigan State leading Iowa 61-59. That score sound familiar, 61-59? In the history of this series, that was the score by which Michigan State won the first game played in this building. Wooldridge has it knocked away by Respert. Bartles runs it down for Iowa.
Right now it is kind of garbage time as far as the type of game you're seeing, but it is exciting because of the pressure on both of these teams to accomplish certain goals.
Iowa now setting up their offense in the hands of their sophomore point guard, Andre Wooldridge. Kingsbury. Nothing but hard. He has hit 3.
Oh, my.
17 for Kingsbury. Iowa with a 1-point lead.
Why do they look like 4-pointers? I wonder.
And the crowd is really into this one at Carver-Hawkeye Arena. They were very loud Sunday against Michigan. They are once again on their feet and very loud tonight. Respert bangs home a three for Michigan State. 29 for Respert.
If you're a basketball fan, this is a game you love.
It's had it all, hasn't it?
Kingsbury gave a question and Respert gave an answer.
It took all 40 minutes to decide it the first time these two teams got together. Looks like we may be headed for a similar finish.
Same play, shorter distance.
Bartles will try it. Weathers, a good active player, runs the rebound down from Michigan State. Michigan State has led almost the entire second half.
Double screen, Murray not able to get through it.
When Respert is open, he will make you pay. 32 for Respert.
And they foul on the inside. Tom Davis asking for maybe an intentional foul. Nothing given to him.
Pike with the foul, his third. He's now the fourth Michigan State player with 3 fouls. Ron Zetcher and Tom Davis talking things over. Davis trying to fight off a very difficult deep cold.
And you see the grab of the shirt, the jersey. And Murray will get to go to the line. And of course, this is what hurt Iowa the first time these two teams met in that last 5 minutes of the game.
Murray, a 59% free throw shooter. He now has 9 points.
And Shawn Respert is doing what a senior star All-American should do. He has hit his last 5 shots, and 3 of them have been three-point range. This is not an equal opportunity game. When you've got someone of the shooting capabilities of Respert, you get the ball in his hands.
Hawkeyes have hit all 6 of their free throws in the second half, and for the game, they are 10 of 13. Murray guarding Respert. Kenyon Murray, considered by many the best perimeter defender in the conference. And he's got his hands full in Shawn Respert, who's right now got hot hands.
Well, Michigan State will set up a series of screens or a double pick for him to get the ball.
Wooldridge rebounding to Brooks Smith. Murray!
Foul that time.
Will have to get him at the free throw line. John Garvalia bangs into Kenyon Murray. Garvalia's 4th foul.
Wooldridge pushing the ball as Coach Davis likes. Had opportunity to get Murray the layup. Hard foul given. Murray has to earn it, as you said.
So Garvalia will stay in at least momentarily with 4 fouls. Murray a moment ago banged both of them home.
When you look at Brooks and Garvalia and Bethea, I don't want to say they're interchangeable as far as their capabilities, but they are 3 players that you can rotate pretty much on an equal basis and be able to get some rebounding and some shooting from that trio.
Crowd groans as Murray misses them both, and coming up with a rebound is Snow. Michigan State with a 67-64 lead, 4 minutes, 14 seconds to go. Michigan State trying to hold on to their share of first place in the conference. The Hawkeyes trying to hold on to their hopes for reaching the NCAA tournament. Something they've done 6 times in 8 years under Tom Davis.
Respert comes to the top of the key to force one, and a tap in on the rim. And Michigan State gets credit.
Pike's first basket of the half, and he's got 6 points in the game.
Just want to see if Iowa remains patient. Remember, they have lost 4 games by 1 point in the Big Ten Conference.
And 1 more in overtime with Illinois. There are people who feel that if Settles had stayed healthy, that Iowa might be right there with Michigan State and Purdue for the Big Ten championship. Wooldridge hits the shot, has a chance at a 3-point play. Wooldridge taking it right into the lane. Respert on his arm.
We've seen it a number of times where Wooldridge has the dribble drive with the breakdown, and then he has a little hesitation as he goes up in the air. He is still looking to pass or to shoot, and then on the way down, he will actually release the ball. Great concentration and touch. Difficult shot.
Wooldridge has been to the free throw line more than any other Hawk on the season. Almost 150 times. He's missed his first two tonight. That time he completes the three-point play, and it's a two-point game. 69-67, Michigan State with the lead.
And Wooldridge picks up another.
And that will be his fourth. And there's now a final from Madison. Big win by the Hoosiers because Indiana now goes to 10-7 in league play with that two-point road victory at Wisconsin tonight.
And certainly I think they're in as far as the tournament. You look at the history of the Big Ten. If you have 17 total wins, 10 conference wins, it is a 54-50 for the Big Ten. Every team that has done that, accomplished 17 total wins or 10 conference wins, has gotten in the tournament.
So Indiana now 18-10 overall, 10-7 against the league. Settles for three. Murray with a putback.
Ring it up.
Tied at 69 with 3:09 remaining in regulation.
It will be defense and defensive rebounding for either of these teams to pull this win out.
Murray watching Respert. 34 for Shawn Respert. What a night.
Kenyon Murray, good choice of waiting to see if they can find a better three-point opportunity.
Hawks need 2 to tie, 3 to take the lead. The shot clock is at 13. Settles, finds the open man, Bowen to tie the score.
That has been open a lot this evening. Hawkeyes finding some gaps as maybe Michigan State a little tired. Not sliding in, taking away that baseline player. And now Bartles switches on to Respert, a little taller. Not as quick as Kenyon Murray.
Respert, the league's top scorer, the league's top free throw shooter. The ball is going to be in his hands a lot in the closing minutes. Iowa with a chance to take the lead.
And this crowd has been standing most of the game. Nothing changes.
And the Hawkeyes, who you mentioned lost those close games early, those 4-1 corners, feel they've really grown because of that experience. And they're in another tight one tonight, and they're trying to make that advantage pay off by being in those close games.
And Tom Davis giving a hand signal to Jim Bartles, the senior, what they want done.
It was the pass for Bowen, and Michigan State in this game that is tied has the basketball. And Judd Heathcote will use a timeout with 1-2-3 left in regulation. A minute 23 left. Game tied at 71. We'll return to Carver-Hawkeye Arena after this message from your local station. This is the Raycom Network. Back a moment ago, the Hawkeyes showing some good poise and patience to tie the score.
Flashing in the middle, Settles draws the defenders, leaving Ryan Bowen wide open underneath for an easy basket. And of course now Michigan State, you can be sure Snow will have the ball in his hands, and then it will be up to Respert to get a score.
Spartans have 2 timeouts. The Hawkeyes have 1 on the next Michigan State foul. Iowa will be in the super bonus. Possession arrow favoring the Hawkeyes. Michigan State with the ball, a minute 23 left in regulation. And 31 left on the shot clock. Snow, Bethea, Respert, Fike, Gervalia on the floor for Michigan State. Wooldridge, Kingsbury, Murray, Bartles, and Settles for the Hawkeyes. Respert missing badly. Now the clock down to a minute 4, and the shot banged home. 36 for Respert. Michigan State with the lead. Make it 37 for Respert on that 3. What a night. Murray can't answer. Kingsbury now will reload. He's the guy that I will look to take those 3.
Yes.
Why?
Well, Hawkeyes respond, 42 seconds.
74 all.
Each team will certainly have one good opportunity.
down to 30.7 seconds in regulation. The Spartans and the Hawkeyes are tied at 74. State and Iowa tied at 74. Hawks tie it on the Kingsbury 3.
Kenyon Murray's shot is long. Hawkeyes down 3. Kingsbury does the step back, past the line, and ties the game up. Now you start looking at fouling situations. You look at right here the three-point percentage tonight. It's all 43, but the Hawkeyes with 13 of them. Interesting when you look statistically at Michigan State. Shawn Respert is an 87% free throw shooter in Big Ten games, but the rest of the team, 57%. Certainly a below average, way below average Big Ten team.
On the other hand, the Hawkeyes are 70% shooters at the free throw line as a team. That makes them second overall, first in the league. So it's Michigan State ball with 30.7 seconds remaining. 22 on the shot clock. Game's tied 74.
And just a timeout left each way. And you can be sure, once again, Michigan State will get it to their star, or certainly attempt to.
Everybody on their feet. An 8-second differential. Shot clock to game clock. And there's a foul as Kingsbury got tangled with Respert. The one guy the Hawkeyes do not want to foul is Shawn Respert. He leads the league in free throw shooting. He's an 86% free throw shooter. Kingsbury with his 4th foul. Respert, 37 points.
Happening away from the basketball. Respert fighting through those screens. Kingsbury trying to keep him from it. A good pushing contest, and Kingsbury gets called for the foul.
Respert knocks it home. Shawn Respert wrapping up an amazing career.
It really is when you stop and think he was certainly not recruited as a shooter or scoring guard to finish second in the Big Ten, at least at this position, all-time leading scorer.
It's a 2-point Michigan State lead.
And now, will they answer with a 3?
Wooldridge, nothing but net, and Iowa has the lead. Wooldridge buries the 3.
Michigan State wants the timeout. Respert not getting it.
And now they do, and it comes with 12.9 seconds left. Michigan State with the ball, Iowa with the lead. We'll be right back to Carver-Hawkeye Arena following these messages. Big Ten Conference basketball has been brought to you by Norwest Banks to the nth degree. And by True Value Hardware Stores, where help is just around the corner. Here's what's at stake for Iowa. A victory over 9th-ranked Michigan State would really open some eyes of the NCAA selection committee in Kansas City. For Michigan State, a win would keep them tied with Purdue atop the league race and actually give them a half-game lead since Purdue does not play until tomorrow night. 12.9 seconds to play. Michigan State has the ball on their half of the court. Iowa with a 1-point lead.
It will now be up to Hawkeye defense and taking care of the defensive rebounding, Michigan State. It'll be Snow and Respert handling the ball. It'll be the 3 forwards going to the glass for the putback.
How similar to the last time these two teams played when Snow hit a 12-footer at the buzzer to win it for Michigan State. Same situation now. Fike open underneath. He got open all alone underneath. Hawkeyes now down by 1.
A great
and Tom Davis will call timeout.
Great deception play that time. Respert just peeling off around a double screen, taking Hawkeye defenders, and then it was just a toss in and a give back to the man taking it out of bounds. That is an ideal play because it's hard to guard the man that's taking the ball out of bounds. Got it back. Snow then penetrated for Fike.
Okay, speculate about Tom Davis and what last play he might be calling now.
I'll tell you what you've really got to be concerned about is what kind of defense Michigan State may come out with right away. They may give a little pressure, a half court, to bother the penetration of Wooldridge. But certainly Wooldridge getting the ball in his hands is critical for the Hawkeyes because he does break you down. And then he will drive as far as he can, see if he can then pick up the foul, have his hesitation move as you watch now. Snow steps right back in bounds, the handoff, the double team, Iowa does a great job there, but no weak side help at all because you're concerned about Respert, who is out on the wing. Very well conceived play by Michigan State, Judd Heathcote.
Murray recognizing it, but recognizing it late. So we're down to 9.3 seconds. If the possession arrow becomes a factor, it favors the Hawkeyes.
As we talked about Wooldridge driving, he is a good free throw shooter. You're down 1 point. Take it as far as you can. Make Michigan State come in and attack you defensively, then finding the perimeter shooter. In this case, when you talk perimeter shooter, Iowa doesn't have to worry about being at the three-point range. They just have to be spread evenly across the backside area so Wooldridge can find the kick out.
Neither team with a timeout. Again, Iowa has the possession arrow, and neither team in the super bonus, although both teams are in the bonus. Now, last time these two teams played, January the 7th, Michigan State won it 69-68. Last play of the game.
Nope.
Now are the tables turned. The Hawkeyes have what may be the game's last possession.
Michigan State is coming with some moderate pressure. They will probably try and keep it out of the hands of Wooldridge. Not very much. Now it's just moderate all the way.
Iowa wanted to get a charge, didn't get it. Wooldridge fires, got it! He got it! The Hawkeyes have the lead.
The clock
No
ran out.
shoots.
It is
No
over.
good. The Hawkeyes have the win. Michigan State Spartans 79-78.
You talk about an upside-down fruit bowl. Hawkeyes start the season losing those one-pointers. Now at the end of the season, the sophomore group is growing up. Wooldridge with the big buckets. And Iowa, I'm telling you, Larry, should be, ought to be in the NCAA tournament with this win.
Well, they have now won 9 games in the league. They have won 6 of their last 8, and they have knocked off a top 10 team.
And they have done it with just great teamwork and an exciting team, which the fans would love to see around the country.
For McCausland, this is Larry Morgan. Iowa wins at 79-78. This has been a copyrighted presentation of the Big Ten Conference.
Northeastern for the NAC championship in the Big Ten. This conference is going to make it very, very tough on the selection committee. It's going to be an interesting time in there Sunday when they try to figure out who to leave out from this conference. Tonight, Iowa and Michigan State. Chris Kingsbury, some tough shots, a bank three with a hand in his face. Another very deep three. That's way beyond NBA range. Iowa led by a point at the half. Second half, this game was nip and tuck throughout. Shawn Respert misses it, gets it back. Hits the three. Spartans led by a 3 with about a minute to play. Hawkeyes come back. Kingsbury, another deep one. Ties it at 74. Hawkeyes go up by 1. Then Eric Snow, the guy who beat him the first time they met, beating Jamie Fike. Spartans by 1. Final seconds, Andre Wooldridge. Earlier, he hit a big 3. An even bigger shot from the baseline. In the final 3 seconds, they don't get the desperation shot off in time, and Iowa picks up a victory, 79-78 over the Spartans. An absolutely huge victory for the Hawkeyes and their tournament chances. More on that in a second. Indiana visiting Wisconsin. Michael Finley on senior night, his final performance, gets a nice big hug and kiss from mom. But then a rude treatment here from Andre Patterson. Patterson had 4 threes as well. Had not hit one all season long. Buries it right there, the freshman out of Abilene. Then Neil Reed. Flying shot off balance, puts the Hoosiers up by a deuce at halftime. Last 30 seconds. Hoosiers by 4. Why the foul? Rashard Griffith, three-point play, cuts the lead to 1. Now it's 72-70. The miss by Hoskins. Patterson is fouled after missing the first, misses the second. Wisconsin goes down, can't get the shot off. And Bob Knight escapes with victory number 18. 10-7 for the Hoosiers in the conference. Wisconsin now at 13-13. One final chance to have a winning season, any chance of a postseason. Michigan trying to play their way into the NCAA tournament, and senior night for the final two members of the original Fab Five, Jimmy King and Ray Jackson. It's King with the nice hoop underneath here. Closing in on 1,500 career points. Rashawn Carlton with the three for Penn State, and Pete Lisicki ties the game in the early going. Late in the first half, Michigan goes on a run. It's King with the steal. And the finish, and there it is, 1,500 points on his career. Wolverines by 9 at the break. In the second half, Michigan built a big lead. Ray Jackson spinning in the lane. Then up a turnover. Jackson slams it down. They led by as many as 17. Travis Conlon, the freshman, buries the three. Career high 11 for Conlon. Penn State came back, made it closer than the game was in reality. But Michigan goes to 17-12. 11-6 in the Big Ten. They do have some poor losses, though, if you want to talk about Washington and St. John's out of the conference. Illinois and Northwestern. Another senior night in Champaign. She, I'm guessing, is not a senior. First half, Richard Keene alley-oop to Robert Bennett. Illini by 10 at the break, 40-30. Bennett on defense. The big block, Gino Carlisle, swatted to half court. Ricky Birdsong. It's been a long, long year, and it's almost over, Coach. Shelley Clark banging the boards, gets the bucket. Clark, 14 points, 17 rebounds. Northwestern still hasn't won at Illinois now in the last 16 meetings, 99-57. So the teams in limbo in the Big Ten that had to win tonight did win, Digger. I'm telling you, it's going to be very tough on the committee.
I don't think so. I think it's going to come down to what Michigan's done and what they haven't done. Michigan's got to win at Purdue this weekend. You can't knock Iowa. Right now, they've just beat Michigan by 20 2 games ago. Tonight, they beat Michigan State. Sunday, they play at Indiana. And when you take a look at Illinois, I think they're in because they beat Iowa twice. They beat Michigan, and they beat Minnesota. They beat Purdue. They beat Indiana. So they've got to go in. So when you take a look at what Sunday's going to become,
but who's not going to go in? I mean,
Michigan
Iowa
will not go if they lose to Purdue.
Okay, Iowa did lose twice to Illinois. It certainly strengthens the case of the Illini when you go head-to-head against Iowa. But the Iowa power rating, much higher than those other teams in the SAG rim because it takes into consideration all those close, heartbreaking losses.
But it's the way they're finishing so strong. To beat Michigan by 20, that's a playoff game. To beat Michigan State at home tonight, that's a playoff game. To play decent against Indiana on Sunday, I really think the Big Ten is not going to get 7. The other conferences won't stand for it. Like the Big East, they're trying to get 4. They want 5. Well, it won't happen. The ACC are going to look for 6. Next thing you're going to know, the Pac-10, who's beaten everybody, should get 6. And if they only end up with 5, you're going to see some people really upset. If the Big Ten, who's not having a big year, they're not going to even have a 2 seed this year.
It's a balanced
conference. They're not going to get no more than 6.
I agree with you, but the Big Ten's not that bad. The power rating of their conference skewed way down by Ohio State and Northwestern, who are both terrible. Coming up, more at halftime, Penn and Princeton battling. The Quakers have the automatic bid, but their streak for a while in jeopardy at Jadwin Gym. Highlights coming up.